Today we're going to go over footage from yesterday. Not apparently some of the more savage footage we have from today, but we'll get to that in another stream, I'm sure. Let's see, we got the last day of Half Guard. So let's get into it. And the debut of this new camera angle and new camera. So
Oh yeah, we haven't done this one yet, huh?
we have not.
Okay.
So let us know what you guys think. Let's see.
Is that
What's up,
Matt
James? What's up,
and
Josh?
Jason?
Yes, Matt and Jason, just over you. Let's see. I'm gonna, if you guys bear with me for 1 second. Yeah, we
It
have.
doesn't look crap too bad. Like it doesn't look like it's cropped too bad on the stream.
That's because I didn't do it yet. I didn't adjust it. So
Oh, okay.
if we go, let's see, get out some of that side, and then maybe get out some of this side, so we can really just see the full extent of the mat. And then yeah, right there. I don't know.
That
You
looks
guys,
good.
let me know what you think. I think that should be good for now.
Yeah.
Cool. So yeah, we'll pull out the Sunday footage from last week and from today soon. I would like to let that or to not let that go too long without reviewing.
All right, so we got Danny. I can't remember any of the new people's names, so you'll have to help me out.
So we got Danny and Cody,
Cody.
Josh
Okay.
and the hobby, Tony and Chris, Aries and Veronica, Matt and Jason, and then Alex and I think Luke. Alex was another intro that day.
Okay. Yeah, I trained with him later.
Then we got Mitch dancing. That's what I want to see.
Yeah, he was enthused yesterday.
Love it. And me with the ladder. So yeah, good to have Tony back. We also had James back on the mat, which was super rad. Just really trying to put some collar ties to work here. Tony not accepting it.
Hobby's really looking for some sort of either leg entry or back take from here, like trying to go into this I would call it like a deep half. It's not really a deep half traditional, but I don't know what to call this, but it just
kind of countering Josh's knee on belly at this point.
It does, but it really, like Josh, it gives you a lot of opportunities when somebody's grabbing your leg like this. I'm thinking what I would do in your situation, Josh, is I would let my knee ride over top of their belly and I would snag Nahabi's right leg, and I would just try and anchor myself by pulling that I'm sorry, I said left leg, his right leg, like anchoring myself to his body with grabbing that right leg and then driving my shin across his hips. And you've got cross ashi entrances from that. You have back steps that you can start doing from that position. I don't know, it's a very good setup for you, actually. Hobby on a leg here.
Yeah, you specifically, you would grab Nahabi's right leg, the one with the brace that's been all jacked up. Ooh, with a good Nahabi with a good little inversion there.
Yeah, so he went for so he did a an Imanari roll is what that is. So you can see the Imanari because his head goes in between. Yeah, in between the legs, and he goes to a backside 50-50 is what that winds up being. But Josh bails on it and goes into 50-50 himself.
No, we could only get 359 degrees out of this camera. I don't know. What do you guys think? It's funny. You can catch little artifacts dead center where the two cameras that face opposite directions where they have to like splice the footage together.
It's right at the middle seams, like just under Jitsu.
Yeah.
You know, like if you follow that straight down, that's the split.
You can even see the U is kind of wonky.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Chris on a triangle here.
Okay.
On Tony.
And there he gets it. Let's see how we got
it.
Actually, let's see how they got to the ground. So, Chris was fighting for a little bit there. Looks like maybe Tony sits. Okay.
Yep.
Chris working guard pass.
James likes it.
Good. Thank you for the singular data point of feedback. James, a good student, unlike the rest of you not chiming in. So that was a good little bit of footwork there. I mean, so Chris steps around, he plants that foot right next to the hip. He plants his left foot, steps in right to here. And now as Tony starts to turn towards him, Chris has everything he needs just to like finish with a knee cut. He doesn't have an underhook, so I'm glad to see that he's not like way up on the shoulder line where Tony could then, shuck by, bridge him, whatever. He kind of hangs out here down at the hips until he establishes his position a little bit better. It's good. You can see what approximately double. I have no idea what you're trying to say, Josh. Fix your grammar. And then I guess from that guard pass, he gets a little heavy. Tony rolls him up. But yeah, simple little mistake from Tony, just leaving that arm out, leaving the one arm in. And Chris is going to take advantage of that every single time. And we got Daniel back on the mat too, rolling with Pat right now. Love to see it.
He's with Mitch.
Or I'm sorry, with Mitch, yeah. Pat was there today.
Yep.
Josh, plant those ankles right to the ground when you're there. That will immobilize somebody in that position, and then you pretty much have, the pick of a guard pass. How'd you like your role with Arsem?
Dude, he's a strong individual.
He's a beast.
He was tough to start moving. Once I got him to barrel into me, it became a lot easier. So like, he's coming into me. It definitely like, it looks like I'm being crushed here, but I actually have decent grips and decent frames. Mm-hmm. So the more he started coming into me, the more I started seeing openings. I'm trying to get his arms on, and we talk a lot about this, whether it's close guard, whether it's half guard, just guard in general, right? I'm looking to get his arms on one side of my body or the other. So here's a good example. He gives me a really big leg drag, which I was anticipating. I let my leg hang out here because wrestlers really like leg drags.
We saw him do this last week as well. He did this exact really big pull by and then try to close the distance.
Yep. And so he gives me he gives me like that really big leg drag, and then I'm able to throw my legs up and start catching into a trap triangle here. And then he shucks me by, starts throwing my legs, and then I'm turtling and trying to see if there's a way. Oh, he got me in side control here.
Yeah.
But as soon as I got into side control, I was able to regard and get back to offensive movements, threatening his arms. And he was a strong dude. Like, I couldn't get anything secured on him. he's going to be a force here in the next couple of months.
Aries hits a really nice slide by here from a kneeling position. Oh, and also a sit out on Ronnie. So from this scramble, you know, Ronnie's giving him a lot of head pressure here, a lot of control over the head. This grip that he sets up right here, you'll see that a lot from a standing position or something similar. There's not just one grip for this, but watch him turn his head in this direction, force Ronnie that way, and he kind of gets out of her way and then goes behind. So
that's really cool.
Yeah, he just uses that little grip on the bicep, like he's kind of, it's basically an overhook with his hand on the bicep, throws by, and goes behind. And then when he gets back there, he switches sides a little bit too. You can see him kind of putting some of his wrestling to work. Nice little tactic.
That was really solid.
Gets on the back. Ronnie's saving him from a concussion.
She's so chill when somebody's got her back.
Yeah.
It's infuriating.
Yeah.
When it's me.
Yep. 100%. Yeah, look at this. Watch as Chris and Aries move across the screen. There's like just a little wobble of like distortion. Just I don't know. Now I'm just geeking out over the camera, but yeah.
That was a good Uchimata attempt.
Yeah, right here, as Chris comes up, I'd like to see Aries trying to kind of scramble in this direction just to put Chris to his back and get close guard. He doesn't, I mean, he's got the underhook, so I guess he doesn't need to worry about a back take here. This is more of like a dog fight, closer to a dog fight position, but I don't see Chris coming out with the back on this. So maybe it was just a matter of time for Aries to put him on his back.
Honestly, I see more of okay. Well, I was gonna say a triangle threat from Aries kind of looking in that direction and planting his left hand. So that's kind of, I was seeing either that or like an Aoki armbar entrance. But yeah, he's doing exactly that. Chris is putting a lot of pressure on Aries to turn to Aries' left, Chris's right. And we normally see that with a strong overhook on the right arm, you know, with the left arm of Chris on the right arm of Aries. But he didn't really have to do that. Aries was kind of doing that for him by planting that left hand. And really solid. I've only shown him the Danaher style, him being Chris, the Danaher style triangle, like I think one class, and he has immediately picked up on that. So that's really good to see.
How well does this camera zoom in? It's pretty damn good.
The resolution actually looks pretty solid.
Yeah. All right, I'm done. Let's see, Mitch in the hobby.
For now.
Yeah. Jason was taking it to me too. We had a good roll here.
Where are you guys at?
We're right here.
He was in the gi pants.
In the middle of all this mess.
Oh, okay.
So that was just a little bit of a gamble on my part coming up on this. Like he sets in this guillotine strangle from half guard, and immediately once I feel that, this goes back to something I've talked about a few times here, where you can start to break that white belt rule you learn, where when someone has you in a strangle, you immediately address the grip on your neck. It's a great rule. There's nothing wrong with it. But in this case, I knew that I could get around to the side. So I said, go ahead, have my neck. That's fine. I'm going to get to cross side with everything I got, because he started to make it difficult. And once I know once I'm there, I'm not in any real trouble with the guillotine. So I didn't have to address the neck. Instead, I put my hands to the hips to control his hips, and then got to a safe position. So it's just one instance of a time where you can kind of bend that rule a little bit about getting your neck safe. I'm just doing it in a way that doesn't involve directly addressing the grip. So you're in on an inside heel hook. Yep. Josh countering.
Yeah, it was a fun entrance from into cross ashi. And then he immediately extracts my foot and tries to go for a counter. So I've got the false reap in. You can see that I'm starting to turn my body, doing what I'm finding to be like crucial hip movement.
I was just going to say, your hip position totally makes this move work.
Yeah, it was really, you see how like I'm moving, I'm like shifting my foot, my right foot, to get my hips in the right spot.
You're reverse shrimping, basically.
Yeah.
Which we talked about on Wednesday, right? That's another good instance of when that motion is useful.
Yeah, it felt right at the time. I had never really thought about calling that out, but
that's pretty cool.
Yeah. But either way, like, so Josh does a really good job here of not only keeping good composure, like he keeps his right leg tucked, to where I would have had a hell of a time trying to go after that ankle. But then immediately just sees that if he can extract my, if he can extract my right leg from underneath his left hamstring, that he has straight ashi on my right leg. So you can see him do that real quick, and he's like, oh shit, I got an ankle here now, right? Like right here. So I'm like, oh, I gotta bail, and I gotta stand up and make my own escape out of this. He's doing such a good job of keeping trying to maintain inside position while I pass, or while I'm trying to set up a pass. Aries is back on a leg on Chris. But then
I wonder if this looks like what we did in class. So working from half guard. So his right knee is not in the spot for what we did in class. But now he kind of, okay, there he goes. He gets it. It looks like he's trying to go more for the straight ankle, which is what we did. We didn't do a heel hook off that.
Yeah, so really he could really benefit from the lever from half guard in order to get to that underhook. So Chris has really good position. Damn, that was a close call.
I was trying to put to work some straight ashi, still like Irimi ashi, seated versus standing opponent. Actually, let's give Jason his credit here. You've heard me call it out before, but this is that De La Riva sweep that he loves, and he nails me with it. Absolutely nailed me with it. And what was so frustrating is, I don't think I told you guys this when I taught this move last time, but typically, if you can pick their other foot up off the mat and just kind of hold it, it prevents them from obviously putting it down and bridging and being able to pick their hips up. I thought I had that. Like there, I pick his foot up and I'm like, okay, he can't do the move to me now. But we found out he can. So his other foot is still in my hand. It's like right up in my pocket. He puts his elbow to the mat, and gets his hips up. Yeah. And completely gets the move very cleanly, puts me right down.
Damn. That was solid.
Yeah, that was really, really awesome. I even said that to him. I was like,
on the leg.
What was that?
But you're right in on the leg at that point because you had that leg in your hip pocket.
Exactly. So his reaction here is a pretty smart one. I mean, like, so he kind of puts his leg into a little bit of a reaped position. My left leg isn't reaping, so there might not be a lot of pressure on his knee. This is one I wouldn't. I don't know. I don't like to see that just because I don't want him to find himself in a bad spot there. But now, since I can't make do with the Irimiyashi setup, I start to switch to X guard, and I look at other things I could do while I have these legs under control. So, you know, when I think a lot of you guys have experienced when you're trying to do that Irimiyashi sweep, which I was trying to do a second ago, you know, right from here where I point my knees out in this direction and try to sweep my opponent to the mat, or I point my knees in this direction and reap and try to get a heel hook. When neither one of those is an option, you can make sure you gather the ankle like I'm doing here. I'm keeping track of his leg. Take a little scoop grip up to the knee, and I fish my legs into an X guard position. So I have one leg under control with my arm, the other leg under control with my legs, and I just go for a classic X guard sweep here. I don't do anything fancy, getting his hips above my hips.
You don't need to at that point.
Yeah,
you don't have to.
It was how can I get this guy down and just utilize this as a sweep. And then in coming up for this, you notice I still have the leg, my hand up at the knee, and I come in for a heavy pass around the side, right to there, and get my guard pass. So that was a really fun sequence, like all the way through. And yes, I did get wrecked off of that De La Riva sweep, which is all the more reason why you guys should do it. Just be careful when you come up. If I have that foot, now I know you might be able to pull it off, but I'm going to immediately go into a leg entanglement. If you can pull it off and I don't have your foot under control, then you're pretty much safe at that point.
Yeah, is that Daniel and Luke?
Yeah,
it is. They've had some pretty good exchanges going back and forth throughout this round. Oh, Daniel is really high up right now. He's either looking for that
compression choke.
He's got.
I know Luke doesn't want to tap to that.
He really doesn't.
I think you got it.
Got it.
Nice.
Yeah, that
Very
is
nice.
I mean, Luke's given up he's given up a lot of weight on this one.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and Daniel does a great job here getting all the way up to the shoulder line. Notice he's not hanging back with his hips next to Luke's. He's completely shifted his weight and his control to the shoulder line. So as he goes to set on the strangle there, it's all very, very pinpoint to where it matters, right up on the neck.
And like, so he doesn't just give you that camel crush tight compression choke feel. Like, he gives you a mix of like a katagatame or arm triangle along with it, right? So if you're not willing to succumb to the diaphragm crush that's happening here, you've got a lot to deal with just with like lack of circulation. So yeah, exactly what you're pointing out here, that arm being really, really high up and his hips being so close to your shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
That's a terrible spot to be in.
Yeah. And camel crushes are, I think those are Josh's favorite cigarette. I believe it's camel clutch is the move. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know, man. I didn't watch wrestling growing up. I wasn't allowed. So I had a real last-minute late attempt on an armbar triangle and then mounted triangle here with Jason. I forgot how I got to. Okay. Oh, so yeah, this was just from basically clamp position, right? I have that leg way up high over the shoulder line, trying to keep the posture under control. He starts to hide his arm here in anticipation of the triangle. It's a little dangerous, just because he's essentially giving me a Kimura, or at least the position I would want for a Kimura. I throw on an Udagatami threat though by scooping that arm up and getting his. You could see his. Maybe you could see his thumb is right there, right? So that means that his elbow is pointed in that direction, right? If his thumb points this way, all the arrows, his elbow points in that direction. So I'm in a good spot for the straight armbar. Now I go to lay that on. He rolls with it. I roll with him, and I set up to a triangle. Well, initially a triangle in anticipation of him rolling up to me and trying to stack me. He doesn't, so I switch to a 3/4 armbar. And now it's a battle of grips, right? Because I have that 3/4 armbar, I feel pretty confident that I can keep him down. But I fail, and I switch up now to the triangle briefly. He actually hit this same escape earlier in the match. The seated triangle escape where you put your feet either, you cross your ankles over the chest, or you put the feet in the armpit and extend back. So I held everything together there. I tried to get up in between his legs and then just take mounted position. Holding everything together, I get my hips behind his tricep and right at the bell, get him to tap. Big Oss, Deathcore, what's up, bro?
What's up, Deathcore?
Deathcore, how do you like the camera angle? More importantly, so much more importantly than our other students. Let's zoom out here. There we go.
Josh and Daniel, Tony and Luke. Is that James and Justin? Is that right?
I'll look at Daniel's single leg finish here on Josh. So he's got, I think, a 2-on-1 grip on Josh's right arm, starting to cut the angle to the left leg, which he scoops up there and then powers through. He's beating Josh to the sprawl essentially. Tony getting safe with the legs against Luke.
Yeah.
Love to see it.
Yeah, he did that with me too.
And I got to roll with Cody here.
A lot going on.
Yeah. Josh with a low single attempt. Or Daniel with a low single attempt. Josh tries to sprawl. I don't think he gets out. Oh, okay. Daniel's just got tricks, man. So he shoots the low single. Head inside, John Smith style. Josh sprawls back, but you'll see Daniel wraps the leg right here.
And this is the right way to grab the leg. Okay, the wrong way were to be if he were to wrap up Josh's left leg. So the fact that he's going behind him like this, right? Like some may be thinking that there's a Kimura there or something like that. Actually, there is
the legs Kimura is there.
Yeah.
If Josh straightens this way and then rolls,
right.
That's what I got Austin with that a couple weeks back, and we saw Giant Slayer do that at the comp.
That's right.
I generally don't reach through the legs, right or wrong. I reach outside the legs.
Mm-hmm.
Daniel feels fairly confident here with it, so whatever, go for it. He gets the Makikomi off of it. Just know the risk when you're doing that.
Yeah, the power of having that leg hooked rather than the other leg is that there's no risk of a straight arm lock when you fall into this position. Inevitably, you will fall into this position if you're going to try and roll through, right? But if he were to grab Josh's left leg rather than his right leg, then Josh has a crucifix.
Yeah.
And you can start putting on arm pressure there and get actually like a legs arm bar.
Yeah.
Just from that. But here there's no risk of it. And in fact, it looks like they either get too close or I don't know what happened. Maybe they reset. Okay, they reset.
Yeah. And Daniel's no stranger to this position.
Yeah, he likes this spot. Yep. Waiting for the legs to open so that he can come right over the top.
And notice it when he does it, he does it off of a bridge. There isn't much leg and hip movement. Well, I mean, I guess, there has to be for him to turn over, but I should say there's not much leg movement. It all comes from the hips and the twist of the body. He's not like running around his opponent like the hands of a clock.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and when he does that, right, like pressure's force over area, right? So that's a ton of pressure going down on you because it's very localized to the shoulder line rather than the flat of the back.
Yeah. Yeah, so he can maintain his pin pretty easily as he does it.
Yep.
See what's up with James and Justin here. James getting a little tricky.
Looks like you found a Kimura on Cody. Oh.
Yeah, started to fish for it. I was kind of, this is his second class with us, so, all right, I think, second class, so I definitely wanted to let him work some stuff. Didn't want to constantly throw up threats. Some IG trash. Hell yeah.
We all gotta vet it out.
Yeah, here. Man.
Nice outside trip by Matt on Chris on the far right. I don't know if you could. Yeah, you can see it in the Twitch. But of course, Chris quick to regard, and Matt kind of left his arm behind, so he has a back take risk, but Chris opts to take mount, which I think is a smart move. But as soon as he shakes this arm off the top of the head, he doesn't even have to. He's just gonna use it to pin.
Goes for a shin
pin.
pin.
Probably triangle.
Yep.
Yep.
And using the a shoulder crunch here. Okay, Matt's doing well to fight out of this. He's not. Looks like he's trying to at least keep both arms in, but
he's not getting that underhook, right? Yeah. Like we talk about the underhook, the importance of an underhook very, very much, and see if Chris shows him why it's so important.
Yeah, he's lost it here, or he never had it.
So here's a back take. One little push. Yep. Okay. That was a Uchimata by you, right?
Uchimata, or maybe just a head throw.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And then, Chris takes advantage of it. I didn't get anything out of it, really.
But he goes to the wrong side.
Yeah. I had a little bit of a, not quite 100% grip. Like, my chest was behind his head, but he slips it. I felt like it would have just been mean to
crank down on that one.
Yeah, there was nothing there. It would have just been, like, uncomfortable. So.
Chin to chest.
Yeah. Now you can really
distortion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's that 360 degree camera that we're using.
Yeah. Yeah.
Really shows the curvature of the Earth too, so that you know the Earth is round. Right, Josh?
Look into it. Cody is with Luke. We got Ares. And what's the other guy's name? Arson. I'll remember it.
Oh man, goes for the spinning arm throw. Right there.
Oof.
That would have been pretty sweet. I hated it when Mitch used to hit those on us.
I loved it when he hit it on everybody else.
Yeah,
Comp.
yeah. That or like when when it's not me and it makes for great footage. I loved it.
Yeah, yeah.
I always feel like you're just gonna pluck somebody's arm off when like a good wrestler does that. Like it's just gonna come right off their body.
It certainly feels that way.
Yeah.
When they do it to you.
It's like, man, just do it to be slow. I'll roll. You'll get it. It's fine.
Just tell me you're gonna do it. I'll lay on my back.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Right, Justin and Tony.
Andrew and Josh as well. We're commenting on. Oh, that was a kick straight to the thigh. Damn, and his Justin's knee took a hell of a turn there. Look at watch him land.
Yeah.
Oof.
Yeah.
Damn.
I think Justin's okay. He just said, "Give me a second." Gonna have to tighten that up, Tony.
Oh, that's right. I remember watching that because I stopped. I think I was with Braden or Gavin. I was with one of the twins at the time. Whoever I'm with back there. Looks like Braden.
I think Braden, yeah. Sorry, I just want to see how Josh and Andrew got to the ground.
Big snap.
Low single attempt.
Yeah.
Failed. Andrew took advantage.
So what happened? Hey, can you go back to
Josh ends
how
up sweeping
Andrew?
him.
Oh, okay.
That's right. Looks like a little butterfly sweep. Oh, no, Andrew, you got a little lazy there, man. You just kind of sat back.
Yep.
Unacceptable.
Yeah, I'd rather not see you accept those. And if that's how you were gonna, and like if you think about it, and I'm kind of thinking through this on the fly here, but if you were to match, if you were competing, nobody's gotten the takedown, right? You didn't hit a go behind. Josh didn't get the single leg, so you standing back up and going back to standing, there's no points awarded. And if that's where you feel comfortable, then that's where you should go back to.
But sitting down just like that and letting Josh take top position, I believe would count as sweep, right?
I think so, because Josh is going from sitting on his butt to now up, and Andrew's opposite, right?
Yeah, so it's like best stand up, just to like work from that position. If you can't maintain top position, then to sit to your butt and let the guy take over, because then you give up 2 points.
Right.
Tony taking a quick hop into mount.
Justin's giving bridges, but he's really not collapsing the leg.
Yeah.
Okay.
Josh is looking for a mounted triangle here too, which I don't think I've seen too much from you, Josh. Is this a new?
He doesn't have.
Is this a new flavor?
Oh, he does have the right leg under. Okay, I missed
Yeah,
that.
yeah, he did. He picked up the head, snuck the leg under. Andrew's keeping his left hand like barely in, like you see his hands are connected. Um, he's in a tough spot right now, though.
Normally very strong in this position, Andrew.
Might be a new flavor. Chris and I are making our way to the center.
Collar tie. Yep, I was gonna see if you did the same one that we went over with, or that you taught Gavin and Braden.
Yeah, I've really been enjoying that one. Just anytime, and like, let me make. What was his grip? I'm pretty sure he just has like the Muay Thai clinch. I can't see his left arm here, but if I'm doing this move, it's probably because he does have a two-handed clinch on me.
With your left hand the way it is, it has to be.
Yeah. Love it. Just such a fun one.
Braden in on.
Oh, and he doesn't get it. What a loser.
Yep. My hand was up.
That was good. That looked really good. All right, me and Andrew.
What was the other guy's, the other intro guy's name?
This guy?
Origin?
Alex.
Gee, yeah. Not Gee, Rashguard. Alex, okay.
Who he has had some training, but he's a white belt, I believe. And came in to check out our school.
Nice.
Yeah, I wanted to get a roll with him, but we had a busy Saturday, so I didn't get around to it.
Yeah, I tried to make my way around to everybody. It was unsuccessful.
I definitely wanted to make Andrew do some stand-up work here. I wasn't. Yeah, as soon as I got out from this like mounted position, I was pretty much like dead set on getting back to standing. Even if he hadn't stood up, this is where I really wanted
You were going
working.
to.
Yeah.
You've got a Katagatame set up here on Alex. I just dismounted. I'm just trying to sink my hips in low to get to that finish. My arm got in very deep off of. I was going for a back take here, and he started going flat to his back, and that always lends itself to a good arm triangle.
Yeah. We should get the camera like the NFL. We could switch over on the other wall and get the angle. Well, so if we had another camera and we wanted to switch, I would need a producer. I would need someone sitting here running a board.
Like and subscribe, like way more subscriptions.
Yeah, so I could pay somebody to do that. Josh, unless you want to do it for free, but I'm gonna need you to come over here to the control center, so we can discuss this opportunity offline. Put a pin in it, put it in the parking lot, circle back offline, and we'll see what we can do. I'm gonna need you to pay for the equipment too to switch it, but I'll basically pay you an exposure. So everybody who watches this will see what a good producer we have, and other opportunities will come along. James with cross.
That's a nice one. I was gonna comment on that too.
Quality wouldn't be great. It'd be worth a shot. Well, I'm gonna need you to, like we're not working with a Polaroid here. I want you to get a good camera. Oh yeah, so James hit this one on me later as well, which gave me a little PTSD because that's how Giant Slayer submitted me. Basically did a similar setup. But yeah, he does from side control, he hits this step over into cross ashi. What's cool about this, I know Luke loves to show this either during the leg lock or the legs 2-week sprint or the side control sprint. instead of stepping over like we normally do with this leg, what I'll just call our top leg, to go to mount, you step through with the bottom leg, but most people don't expect that. They expect the transition to mount. So now you get right into a cross ashi position, super quick to gobble up the secondary leg so that Matt can't turn away from this. And then he sets up the clover leaf, or a leg lace. He weaves his arm through and essentially gets to, depending on how you set this up, it's either a lot of pressure on the ankle of the secondary leg or the knee of the primary leg. So really solid.
Yeah, I like that.
Good work, James.
There's a funny story about when Luke first showed that, but we'll leave that for another time.
Did he pop your leg with it?
No, he did that with multiple other things.
Yeah.
Bully.
The FOMO of watching Saturday gives me chest pains. Are you sure it's not just the surgery you had on your chest?
The chest pain.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Daniel and Arsum rolling. This is sick. I saw them partner up, and I'm like, yes, I want to watch this match. And it's a banger right off the bat.
Walls. Yeah.
I love it. Hold on, I want to watch this again. Whatever, dude. You don't have to be so short with your response. God, just a joke, bro. All right, so let's see. Tying up here. Arsum snapping down the arms. This is cool.
Double unders.
Yeah, and like, I know Arsum did Greco as well, so he's pretty comfortable from like various styles here. Like this to me, just, again, I'm not a wrestler. To my untrained eye, this looks like more of a Greco approach that he's taking with Daniel, which is pretty cool. I love it when wrestlers have more than just like, singles and doubles in their arsenal. So to the double unders,
but Daniel's wise to it. Look at that big step.
Yeah.
He takes him and then does an outside trip with an overhook. So big overhook shrug.
Throws him by, completely exposing the back of the legs here. Steps in. And gets the fall. Arsum not
accepting it.
The wrestler coming out and not wanting to go to his back. So immediately going belly down, trying to scramble up to a top position.
And Luke trying not to get his face smashed by feet.
Yeah.
Did you see that like hand waving?
Yeah, he's like,
no.
And then this is something I know I do it to a lot of you guys. I do this stuff to Josh all the time because he too frequently gets behind me from these scrambles, and I immediately fight the hands. Like this is your path to squaring back up and not getting taken down. Like this immediate hand fight, you could see Arsum takes right to it to get himself safe, right? So he's fighting the hands, he's running away, he's shifting his hips forward, and that's how he gets out. As soon as the hands come free, he spins and gets safe. Gotta work that hand fight. We do miss you, Cole. Well, we don't, because you're still there.
No, you're still there.
Yeah. And honestly,
you
man.
Came today.
Yeah.
You were coaching.
And after how much you were just like sweeping all of us, I think we could all use a break.
We need a break.
Slept. Oh man, every second of this, I just want to like watch more of.
Big double unders, and look at, Daniel is loading him up, right? And he's trying to throw in this Uchimata. Gets a big step out of Arsum. But then what's Arsum? So Arsum plants with the left hand, right? And then starts walking around to the front.
He does. He also he gets his hips low and back. But I'd say the more important part of this is how he drops his hips as Daniel goes for this. If Arsum's hips were, up by the lower back, then he's going for a ride. But now you can see he's disengaged his hands. He's pulled out the left underhook, and that prevents him from getting the full brunt of that throw. Now they're in a dogfight. Arsem comes up on the single, and
very cool finish to that single. Did
yeah,
you see this?
It's a different way of running the pipe. Like, this is pretty slick. So he steps through instead of bowing down to the mat, you know, and putting that pressure on and turning. This is cool. He's like turning himself through it. He's leading with his legs more than he is with his upper body on this finish.
Right. Very slick.
That's cool. And then the most important part, once he gets that down, watch the hair flick. Bam.
Yeah.
Style.
We can't miss it.
Style points.
Yeah.
2-point takedown, 1-point style point. All right, gets the guard pass. So yeah, now this is where we'll start to see some of the jiu-jitsu technique breaking down, just because Arsem hasn't quite learned it yet. But Arsem, if you watch this, I'd like to see you next looking to get your legs in, around Daniel's body. That's what we call getting our hooks in to establish back control, and that's where you get to see all the fun stuff, like rear naked strangles and things like that. For now, though, I mean, since you haven't quite gotten accustomed to that, like seeing you maintain Gavin Danson, I think it's Gavin, seeing you maintain top position, working through now, Daniel's making you work from half guard with a lockdown right now. That's a problem you probably haven't had to face. That's all still going to be good stuff for you to learn, so just don't get discouraged if you're like, you do all this rad stuff and then you're like, well, I'm not even near submitting people, because you're gonna have to deal with pinning people probably from unfamiliar positions. Oh, Daniel trying for that arm. That was sick. Really fun to watch. Great takedown on from each of them.
Looks like James is giving Matt the rundown of that entry.
So I'm gonna roll here with Victoria. So Victoria immediately working to a high risk position on the guillotine. We should tighten that up because she had me in some trouble there. Coming over into mount, and I'm going out the back.
Gavin had some really good transitions during this roll, and he legitimately caught me, I think, in this next submission. Like, I definitely tapped to a 13-year-old, like 100%.
Must not have been a leg lock, because we know you don't tap to those.
Nah. It's got to be a strangle.
Okay, he sets up a triangle on you.
It wasn't this one. This one, I mean, it was obviously a very good triangle, but he gets me in a 10-finger guillotine.
Little bastard.
And just sends it home.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, damn.
So we got Josh with Luke.
He's getting a lot more familiar and comfortable with passing up through the middle. And it makes his passing game so dangerous. Oh, Josh and Luke. Okay. I missed what you said.
Oh, yeah. All right, so Victoria putting to work what we did earlier that day. That's awesome. So let's look at this.
Yeah.
So she,
Nice hip escape.
yeah.
Yeah.
Now she gets me into. This isn't the way we got to this position because we started from half guard in class, but it's this, the same idea. So she gets me to an Orimiyashi. I plant my foot just to keep my ankle safe from the straight ankle. And she switches down to behind the knee, and she's hanging her weight on my left leg and getting me rolling back. So I can't. I have a hard time stepping back since her left leg is a sticky hook behind my knee. And then now she rolls toward the leg that she's attacking. She's down by the ankle. The only thing I want to see here, and we talked about it. I know I went over it with a few groups, but the grip here can definitely be improved and make this so much worse for my leg. So we talk a lot about, or I talked a lot about that day, this energy leak that occurs between the chin and the hands. When you guys set up these leg attacks, whether it's a straight ankle or a heel hook, the proximity of your chin and your hands is super important. What happens is, we say like, say the Pledge of Allegiance, you pull your hand up nice and high, you make your grip, and you straighten out. And my microphone's in the way, but when the hand's up here and you go to straighten out, you guys lead with your head and you pull yourselves back, and the distance between your chin and your hands increases. What that's telling me is that you're not putting all of the extension of your spine into the force against my leg, in this case my Achilles tendon. So when you go to straighten out, if you keep your hands close to your chin as you go, when you extend your spine, your hands go up, and it's 1-to-1 the extension of your spine pressuring into my ankle. So when you guys are practicing these or hitting them live, make sure that you're not losing this energy between the spinal extension and the pressure onto my ankle. Keep your hands and your chin the same distance apart the whole way through that. You'll get a tap a lot sooner, unless you're going with Mike, at which point you'll get a pop a lot sooner.
It won't happen.
And did James do the same move again to Aries?
Yep. He sure did.
Well,
but he has in a crucifix.
Yeah, Aries has the leg that would sit through. So okay, there he lets it go. Then James goes for it. Got it. Okay. Nice.
But yeah, going for that secondary leg. James, just to tighten it up, sound like a broken record, get your knee. You tend to fix it, but your knee shoots really like perpendicular to Aries's knee. I want them pointing in the exact same direction. So your left knee, I want it pointing parallel to Aries's knee. Preferably, like a good rule of thumb is just to get your knee pointed to the ceiling, with your left foot here planted on the mat. That's a good spot to make sure that they won't be able to clear that knee line.
Almost like it's like the riding a bicycle idea.
Yep.
Yeah. So like in this case, James, your right knee is going to drive down and your left knee is going to drive up, and it kind of like puts Aries' leg in shear between your two legs.
Exactly.
I love seeing you put this move to work and get it multiple times. It's really awesome.
Yep. And just the simple, like even that little movement right there to where Aries is trying to hop over, right? And all James has to do is back heel in order to get Aries back down to the mat.
Luke and Josh over there. Oh, Luke on the Kimura. Yeah, bring it. I mean, if you have any more questions about it, bring it up again at class, and one of us can show you exactly what we're saying. But it's such a powerful spot that you're just pretty easily sitting into right now. So definitely worth taking some time to shore up the mechanics of the control. Victoria on the back with a body triangle, and the hand fight here was a little lacking, so I start trying to point her in the right direction. She's got my neck exposed. I just have a hand on the knuckle line of the strangle arm, so I want to see her work towards getting that final grip that she needs to send this one home.
About 15 seconds ago was Gavin's 100% 10-finger guillotine. So I go to turtle up. You can see he's immediately switching into a guillotine setup. I'm not really too worried about it, right? So I put my head in the middle. We've gone over this, unfortunately. I don't know why I show these children like moves like this.
He's like happy.
He's so giddy about it. And I'm like, shit, you know, like like at this point he's got his chest right over my head. He's pulling up with both hands, 10 fingers going up, and I'm like, I got nowhere to go. And he gets the tap. This is good. So proud and sad at the same time.
Yeah. The face is amazing.
Yep.
It's like a kid on Christmas, man. Look at him.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, when they've done this to me, it's really made me think more about my defense to that, because until you showed it to them, I don't think anybody in the school was really hitting these. So they, he and Braden started really trying these like right off the bat. And it made me think about the defense to this. And like, if you guys find yourself here, my late stage defense, and I'm not sure if this is right or wrong, it just seems to be what is working for me at this point. With this version of a guillotine, all of their connection to you is focused on the neck, and they are on the balls of their feet or flat-footed or whatever, but they're not on their hip. There's so much room because of that between your chest and the ground. And what I find myself doing here, as soon as I feel this pressure on, I think about doing I don't want to say, it's not really a forward roll, but I'm looking to get my back to the mat. And in this case, if I was in Mike's position, I would send my right arm all the way through, just across my chest, like I was trying to touch the wall where Braden's standing. I would send my hand through, dive my shoulder to the mat, and with everything I can, try to get my back to the mat. And if you spin fast enough out of this, you can get your neck safe. You kind of have to give up, a guard pass, essentially. Technically right now, Mike's in turtle, so like his guard hasn't been passed. But when you go to your back, chances are your opponent's either going to take mount or stay in north-south or work from side control. So you're giving up a guard pass. But I'd happily do that than get tapped out by a 13-year-old like Mike did. It's really embarrassing.
I'm really ashamed of myself.
That was nice. Really nice. Good back take, James. And Josh, new Josh, with that mounted triangle again. Briefly.
That's right. This is my first round with Chris.
Just about got him across.
Yeah, this is the same entry. Who do we watch? Oh, not the same entry, but very similar to what James was working on, right? Like trying to get somebody down to the hip. I went in on a false reap here. And it was the same entry that I used on Josh earlier in this night. But here, Chris, he was guarding his right leg pretty well. But I went immediately in for the double trouble and gathered that secondary leg. And from here, I could get the. I think I got a straight ankle on the other leg.
Oh, okay.
No,
you said this was your first match with Chris.
I'm sorry. No, this was I have 2 matches with Chris on yesterday. So I meant 1 of 2.
Cole's being very literal.
So I'm in a pretty dangerous position where I'm at here. From the rear triangle that can be thrown up from this north-south-ish position, side control / north-south. But if you see where my head is, this is what makes or breaks it for side control and north-south. If you can you zoom or rewind just a hair?
So there's a couple hairs. There you go.
Here we go. Hang on. Was I here? No, it was right when I passed. Okay, let's go through the passing sequence. So I'm doing an over-under pass, but notice that my head stays on the outside of the hip at all times. So my head is at the right hip of Chris, and even when he goes to try and high leg over, I'm not allowing him to do that. I'm trying to get my forehead down to the mat as much as possible, and I'm hugging his leg in order to make sure that my shoulder is pressuring down on his leg. Whenever I feel, which he's really good at, him make that knee elbow connection, notice that I pummel my hand inside of his legs, and I immediately try to get out of danger here.
Yeah, so once your head is in, you're trying to take your arm out.
Right.
So that you're not leaving it one arm in and your head in.
One arm out.
Oh, Matt and Aries. This is a great exchange here. So looking to the side. So Matt in on a single. He's got his head on the outside, but it's high. Aries doesn't have like a guillotine thread on him, but he does have this arm. We're just barely off screen. I wonder if I can. There we go. We'll just pull that over for a second. Aries is like basically cross-facing him, pretty much under the chin at this point. But he's sprawling here, or at least doing the best he can. It's not a sprawl in like the most traditional sense, but he's really trying to like plant that foot. Matt gets the better of him though, and he gathers the leg, and he looks to run the pipe. Aries goes down and keeps it going and gets a reroll. Let's look at that one more time.
Very nice.
And that comes up on top. Right in with the heel hook. Still some little things I want to tighten up with this. So we're getting better about the roll here, but I want this grip to get a little bit better, Braden. I want you going wrist down to the heel, not your elbow at the heel. We can talk more about that next time I see you. But always steady improvements on that. Trash, what happened? Yeah. I had to bully Braden a little bit here after that. And Josh. Just two birds. One teenage-sized stone. Coming around to the back with that Kimura grip on Chris.
I really wanted to get to the back on him.
He's making it difficult these days. He's very good at hiding his back. He's gotten better at it.
Made it very difficult for me to get to this finish.
Yeah, his hand fighting from day one has been pretty annoying.
So here he immediately passes in my body triangle, my left leg in between his legs here, and I'm feeling pretty vulnerable to my body triangle, but I feel really good about my hand position. But here I'm locked in on a strangle, and normally I feel good about him, and I just didn't feel good about that at all. Like, he just had a way of like turning his body to where I was like, I'm not getting this. And so I had to go through and work some more magic on this hand fight. And I'm not bullying him like going across the face as much as I am literally just trying to turn his chin from side to side. And as I'm starting to turn his chin, I'm using, like the blade grip that Danaher talks about in order to get in there and then shove my knuckles underneath. And then I think eventually I get to this arm.
You can watch that left hand start to get to work right here. You get the thumb under, then you're kind of walking the hand up
real quick. And then there.
Nice little switch.
Yep.
So we talked about this after class, but if we turn our attention to Matt and Aries again, Aries gets up into side control, and Matt pulls out the buggy choke.
Yeah.
Which we haven't really seen in a while. But the big question that they had for me after class was why it didn't work. What's up, Pib Jitsu? How you doing, bro?
What's up?
So Matt goes to put on this buggy choke, and I mean, I preface my explanation for this to them with the fact that I kind of hate the buggy choke, primarily because I can't do it. I do think that this is one that is this is one of the moves that is pretty reliant on body type, I'm gonna say. I've done it before, but it was to like a 13-year-old. My short limbs and a smaller person, I could pull it off, but I'm not pulling it off on any of the adults in here. But Matt's got really long limbs, so he's like, why isn't this working? So the few things, or one of the first things I pointed out to him was this hand grip he's doing. He starts off with a Gable grip. Where was it at? They've been here for a second, I think. Come on. Right here, he sets it up. He's kind of grabbing his knee, so he was doing that a little bit. But we see his one hand kind of out here, flapping in the wind. I don't think that that's a good way to use this move. I'd like to see a closed hand grip. He's pulling on the knee, he told me, because it hurt his forearm considerably, like the leverage that he was pulling. That it made it uncomfortable on his forearm. I've also seen like knees pop with this before. I think there was a you know, not too long after this move kind of went viral in the jiu-jitsu community, a bunch of videos start popping up. Some guy pops his knee in competition trying to set it up, and it's like, maybe this isn't the best move for everybody. So if you have concerns about your knees, maybe you shouldn't do it. But the other big thing here, and Danny pointed this out too, is every time Matt was showing us him doing this move, he was flat on his back. You need to point your hips. You need to like turn towards your opponent. Get up, you know, in this case, Matt needs to get up on his right side to start getting the angle he needs for this move. Remember that a buggy choke is nothing other than a katagatame. It's a shoulder, it's a head and arm, you know, an arm triangle, head and arm choke, whatever you want to call it. So it's all about angle in the move. So when you're flat on your back, you're not giving yourself the angle that you need to establish the connection between your opponent's shoulder, you know, the shoulder, bicep maybe, and his neck. And then in this case, it would be, how do you set these things up? It would be your quad, I believe, or your hip and the other side of his neck. So the angle is super important. If you're not getting it, it's probably because you're flat on your back. You need to make sure you're turning to your opponent first as you set these up. So you got the strangle on Chris.
Yeah, it took me 5.5 minutes.
Braden has a cool little sequence here. So spins out the side and comes right over top on the headlock for me, and then takes me over and sets up a nice anaconda.
Nice.
That was super slick, Braden. A little hesitant here. I'd like to see the execution a little quicker, but I think he realized what he had, and when he noticed it, he immediately went for it. So that's good. And then that control over my arm with his legs is essentially automatic at this point, where before it wasn't. So really, really great. Dueling,
shared balance, yeah, Imanari rolls.
Dueling Imanaris, yeah.
Yeah.
He likes his Imanari to ankle pick. I was just gonna see what I could get. We got me and Yash. Josh, who smells like Camel Crushes. That new flavor. Then you and Luke.
Yep.
My bad. I forgot you like that all natural farm to table cigarette. That free range. Got Tony and Arson. Tony immediately sitting, understandably so. Arson with his leg drag to the pass. Watching Arson do leg drags makes me think I've just always done them wrong by like not putting a little bit of power into them, you know?
Yeah.
But he executes them with speed. I think I've always tried to execute them more with like a little bit of slow control. Not that one is right and one is wrong, just two different ways.
Wrestler arm drags are just something to feel. Like, yeah. if you've never experienced it before, you're like, oh shit, I didn't know. Like, I thought I was sweaty, and
yeah,
I guess not.
Yeah. All right, so Josh and I had a really good sequence here that didn't end how I wanted it to end, but I take a shot. I'd been feinting some shots on him leading up to this, so I go in on the double. I was pretty pissed that he got away. But notice I'm 4-pointing. I'm not just turtling up and waiting for him to move. So I'm gonna make him work for this counter takedown. Still trying to reach a leg, and he's sprawling away. He cutely tries to climb up on my back here. But now he gets behind me, and I alluded to this earlier. Look at my hip position, my shoulder position, and what my hands are doing. I'm throwing my hips forward, trying to make it difficult for him to establish a strong grip around my waist. I'm immediately going in on the hand fight. Here I'm having to walk forward. He hits a beautiful trip here to get me to the mat. Let that play out. Now I'm turning towards him. I got him in a guillotine threat. Not even a real true guillotine threat. Just control over the head. And again, I'm not accepting this seated position. I use that control over the head to get my hips and legs back, come up top, snap him down, and then try to hit a go behind to a back take, which I felt really good about until he managed to turn towards me, and I just end up working from open guard.
No points.
Yeah.
Damn.
That was the most tiring guard pull I've ever done. But now, Josh, I hope you realized, I think because you slid to your butt here and I took top position right here.
Yep, 2 points.
I get 2 points and you lose. Loser.
So a few weeks back, when I was training with Luke, he submitted me, even though he was in bottom with the north-south choke, right? So he has me before he had me in a north-south choke 10 seconds ago.
Really?
So he comes around, passes the guard. He had already passed, and he goes into north-south, and he's starting to threaten the strangle. I take him over, and he is really hell-bent on keeping it. But what I did was I pummeled my left elbow inside of his left arm and was able to get out. Then, yeah.
His right shoulder is also hot garbage right now, so.
Yeah.
That may have, I'm not taking away your defense, but that may have helped
Yep.
a little bit.
Yeah, it was definitely, I could feel him let go a lot sooner than I expected.
Yeah.
I'll say that.
All right, we got Andrew and Aries up here too. Ooh. Little knee pick from Arsum.
Knee pick / blast double.
Yeah, basically more of a double. And Andrew gets a takedown over here too. One more time. How does he get behind him here? Okay, so Aries goes for, yeah, almost an Uchi. He doesn't get the hip, like he doesn't heist the hip up. So Andrew ends up behind, fully gets behind him. Nice takedown.
Very nice. Clean.
Josh gets me here in a second. Alright, gotta be careful with that Arsum. Just taking people straight back over their legs. Tony and Arsum need to be a little bit more conscious of their opponent's legs. Oh, what did Andrew do? So here, Andrew's in basically a modified mount at this point. I don't see what happened. I guess it was maybe an Americana or something.
Or maybe Aries had to just get his hair out of the way. Nope, it wasn't that. Me trying to throw Luke is really funny. We're trying to get him to commit to a movement, move him around. Doesn't really work.
His hands are just planted.
Yeah.
So Josh, big snap, or really a sprawl, immediate go behind. I actually talked about this with Kurt's boys today. It'd be great to see you guys working. So this is something that probably comes more from wrestling. Isn't practiced enough in jiu-jitsu, unfortunately. But the sprawl is too often used as its own individual move. It needs to be paired with can be paired with probably a few different things, but a go behind is the best friend of a sprawl. As soon as you hit your sprawl, I want so Josh got a little lucky here with without the hand block on the go behind. So here he kind of goes up immediately. I should have brought this hand up to block his hips, but he beats me to it and hits the go behind. If you guys are just sprawling to a front headlock, it's not the end of the world. There's still plenty of things that can be done there. But if you look at a lot of high-level wrestling matches, and even some of the results from ADCC trials before ADCC 2022. Again, I've called out the YouTube channel before, but go check out Less Impressed, More Involved. That guy did a great breakdown of the 77 kilogram division. And his takeaway from the ADCC Open or the ADCC Trials matches was that in the 77 kilogram division, a bunch of the rear naked strangles came from sprawls to go behinds. And he references some of a great number of like D1 NCAA wrestling matches where it's the same exact thing. Points are scored so often from sprawl go behind every time. Like, if you guys can make those things that automatic, it will drastically increase how frequently you're getting to the back. And when that number goes up, your strangle number goes up. So Josh got a really good back take and then immediately sank in the strangle on me there. But I wasn't going to let him have it for free. So a little foreshadowing. He just working from an outside Ashi position where I was able to get my leg safe. You can see I start to pull my heel back, and that just leaves him with his guard passed and his back fully exposed.
So Luke and I had a good exchange here to where I think Luke came around to try to pass my guard. Just before that, actually during your same sequence here, but even before.
Okay. Oh, it's just with all the, okay, I see.
Yep. So he comes around. He's coming around to try to pass my guard. He's got this over-under style pass. I threw up a trap triangle, which is it's enough to try to threaten, but if you've tried to triangle Luke, it's very difficult to do that. So he shrugs me off and then goes into this weird spot to where it's almost like a reverse mount, and then dives straight in on cross Ashi, and then gets me into the Z-lock position. So this is really not a comfortable spot for me to be in. I really don't like it. That's actually how I got my knee popped. The one time I got my knee popped.
The one time
was in the Z-lock position because I didn't even know what it was. And so what I do is I pulled my right leg back and I start to push on his left hamstring in order to start to free the position. And then you can see my left hand is very active here, pushing to clear my knee immediately. And once I'm able to clear this leg, you'll see that I'm immediately shooting in on Luke's left leg here. And I jump in. My hips go straight in to his hips, and I'm diving straight onto the ankle. Now he still has cross Ashi on me,
but his leg seems trapped.
But his leg is trapped because I'm not letting it go, right? Like all my weight is on that leg. So then I can fall back. I get into the heel hook position. I'm down on my shoulder here, which is where I actually prefer to finish. But I've got full heel exposure. Yeah, I lock up and reinforce, and then I get to the tap here.
That was nice counterattack.
Yeah, thank you.
We'll give Arsum some props here too. So he hit the move of the day here. So he gets Tony in half guard, and he steps up into his straight ankle.
Yeah, he does.
Very good. looks like they're going through it a bit.
I think it's probably like a quick tap followed by how bad does it really hurt, right? Like, which I always think is a very smart way as people who are new to leg locks to kind of figure out, always tap early and then test, like where your limits are.
Yeah, for sure. See, Justin's in. He's got a guillotine, but he's not really crunching to his left side. I think Chris is just kind of waiting this out to get his knee free. So glad we got those wall pads up.
Yeah.
All right. Me and James. It's nice to roll with James again. How did you feel the day after, James? I know you felt good during class. There he goes, trying to start setting up the same cross ashi entrance on me, which he did hit at some point. Excellent. So there he sets it up on me, but I just kind of triangle my legs to keep things safe, so that he can't extend my primary leg, and then start turning towards him to get my knee free. Oh, bro hug. What was that? Oh yeah, then let's see. Turn towards him. He takes my back. Good back take. It sinks in the choke.
Yes, so same entrance that I had on Chris earlier. I got on him today, or in this sequence as well. It's a little bit different entry. It's the same entry but a different finish to the entry. I actually went sideways rather than taking him straight overhead. So I lay in the false reap somewhere here, I think. Yeah, he steps over. He actually gives me the false reap by stepping over my legs. And then I'm inverting to try and get him off balance and try and get his head over my head. You can see that struggle. But then since he fell to his hip, I was able to simply just turn my hips to the left. And when I say turn my hips to the left, I'm not flaring my leg out in order to drive him over with my knee. I have to be very careful here. If I do that, and especially against somebody who's like a larger opponent, that could be a lot of stress on the LCL. So here, what I'm trying to do instead is I keep my left knee stationary, and I'm doing that reverse shrimp that Matt was talking about before, to where I'm actually using my right leg to drive my hips underneath him and turn him to the left.
See, I think you unlocked a pretty keen detail that we've probably been skipping in a lot of our cross ashi entrances.
I'm seeing that now. Like I had no idea that I did that.
Yeah, I'm excited to put that to use.
Yep.
You think so much about, well, I've got my legs in place, they're in an inside position, maybe I should pull them. Why isn't this cross post working? Like,
yep.
You can do all that stuff and more with that reverse shrimp. I think that's going to be a big detail.
Luke and Andrew tying up.
And Andrew looking like he's not too scared to stand with Luke, which is awesome.
Yep.
Yeah, that was a nice takedown too. So Luke,
strong overhook.
Yeah, this is like the now you can't leave sort of takedown.
Mm-hmm.
There you go, right into Kesa.
you are on James's leg here.
I've been like that reverse close guard position.
Yep. James is giving you some trouble with this tight waist grip.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a losing battle at that point.
Oh, okay.
Like I
Okay.
just went back to guard.
Luke is heel hooking. Nice.
Yeah, black belt, heel hook, and white belts. That's what we do.
That's how we do it.
This is good though. I'm glad to see Andrew testing his stand up right now against Luke. Like because he is extremely powerful with his with how he hangs his weight and his collar ties and stuff. So if he can get Luke if you can get Luke addressing those grips, I think that bodes well for like it shows the progress he's making there up top. There we go. That was a little scary there for a moment, Andrew. Tony's just laying heavy pressure onto Josh right now. Oh, Andrew with the reap on Luke, and Luke with the counter.
Try to get that arm drag.
Yeah, and so this is something just to keep in mind as you guys are working your stand up. When you guys reset, or even if you're in the middle of a match, take a quick glance at the condition of the floor where you're working, because I mean, it really will dictate some of the moves you can and can't get away with. Like if you're standing, yeah, if you're in a puddle of sweat, man, like it's gonna make a big difference. That honestly may be why Luke pulls here. You know, because I mean, like we're all on a line. You know, there's a dry spot here, but like
nobody's in it.
Yeah,
we're both like we're Cheerios in a bowl. Like,
yeah,
everybody.
Exactly. So you know, I can see why Luke pulled. But yeah, if you want to work takedowns, like get to a spot where it's gonna be doable for you. We don't have the benefit of shoes like wrestlers have, so we need some dry mat space. And if you can't find any, be picky about what you try to do.
Yep. Yeah, so this is the worry. Like this was me slipping on the over underpass on Chris here. So I go I go over under, I start backstepping around, and he was really able to break my posture down with that right leg. And yeah, that I could not get my right arm out in time. See how my arm is dropped down to the mat.
Yeah, as soon as you backstep, he was ready for you.
Yep. So I was like, well, this is why I normally don't over underpass.
Yeah, it's one thing in the gi, it's a little harder.
Yep.
No gi. All right, great stuff. Thanks so much for tuning in, guys. I hope you're all having a wonderful Sunday night. Thanks for spending it with us. Let's see, tomorrow back to side control. We're moving on to side control at class. Yep. Right, we're in half guard now. Yep. Moving on to side control. So I hope you guys are ready for that. July 29th is our next competition, so keep that in mind if you're looking to compete. We're coming up on a month out, so I hope you guys are preparing. If you're interested in going, I'll see you tomorrow, Joshua. Hope you guys are preparing accordingly. Please let us know if you're going to compete, as always. What else?
Bring questions to class, like anything that you saw in here that maybe you want to go over in more detail. Please let us know.
Yeah, James, let's tighten up that some of the cross ashi control mechanics. Since you're finding yourself in that position so much, I think it'd be really good to just go over that position further, with the details Mike was talking about. So we'll definitely go over that. Wash your crevices. Yeah, that should be our new motto for sure. We should get rash guards made with that. Um, what else? What else? Yeah, follow us here if you're lurking. We always appreciate the support. Pib Jitsu, thanks for coming back again, hanging out with us,
Yeah,
bud.
thank you.
And subscribe if you like what you're seeing. We always appreciate the support. We will keep it coming if you guys support us. So subscribe over on YouTube as well, and we'll post this up for you guys to review over there. And let's see, anything else? I'm teaching Tuesday, so dust your geese off, bring them to class, and we'll go over some side control stuff from there. Other than that, I think we're good. We will catch you guys this week on the mats. Go trim your nails and do your laundry, and don't be stinky, and we'll see you there.
Later.
See ya.